Hello, sir.
Timothy, how are you?
Yeah. I'm doing good, and yeah. People,
As we normally do, talk to our people and just tell them thank you for tuning in. These are your children. We're back on air again, and I want to say thanks to all of you and a pleasant good evening if you're in your different towns and districts. It is always a pleasure getting on Good Shepherd Radio to talk to the people.
okay. So now, just tell how is the how is everything there? Like the weather, how is it looking like in the states as you speak?
Oh, so in my part of the state, as I speak, the weather is looking a little gloomy. So what that is now, it looks like it wants to rain, but it is a little hot. So it is not cold yet. We're in what we call fall, right? And so it will soon start getting cold. But the weather is great from my end, and 76 degrees, and so it's pretty sunny here today, but a little bit gloomy now because I think it looks like it wants to rain a little bit.
Okay. So we would like to say welcome again to the show and welcome to Good Shepherd Radio. It's actually a pleasure to have you here on our regular talk show.
Always a pleasure for my intimacy. I really appreciate Good Shepherd, and I said you guys should be up for nomination, best journalist of the year in Nimba County, and I mean I'm not joking.
Of course, we also want to say our DOP, he will be joining us a bit, but he's down with the fresh show, so he's actually not able to completely, fully be a part of our talk show tonight. Again.
Absolutely, that's totally fine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
uh-huh. Let's get to this ball rolling. Where are we starting from? The starting point.
Well, I mean, today, pretty much the kickoff now, Timothy, I want to let our people know that one of the things or the thing that's trending in the country now has to do with October 1st, which is Sunday. The collaborating political parties led by Mr. Cummings and a daughter of Nimba, Charlene Brumskin, will be at the Antoinette Tubman Stadium to make sure that we're doing the celebration rally. And it is expected that hundreds of thousands of Liberians from all over will be at the ATS. So if you, are looking forward to this day, make sure you get your, ANC red, white, or Liberty Party green and white, and let's go ahead and march together at the ATS. This is the big news that's actually, coming up. And today, there were two endorsements from different groups that endorsed the rally and the CPP, and those groups will be in full at the ATS.
Okay. So now let's look at that whole event in totality. Like you said, Sunday, and as we are aware, the election, the campaign that was launched, that was open on the 5th of August, will be coming to an end by next week. The series, if I'm not making a mistake. So now, tell us what are things that you expect to be done on this gathering that is planned to be called the FIXEWR Day.
Well, the Fix Up Day is all about bringing Liberians together, right? Liberians who are tired of the inequalities we see across the country. People who have concerns like our mothers and fathers, no jobs, commodity prices are high, government is not doing what it needs to do to be able to help the ordinary people. So the expectation here is you will see hundreds and thousands of Liberians who fit that particular narrative are joining arms together, making sure that they're declaring that they want to see change in Liberia. Mr. Thompson is the only. I mean, sorry, Mr. Cummings is the only candidate that can actually, change the current economic situations that we have faced here. I have a buddy of mine who just landed in Liberia that texted me just now. Thompson, he's never been to Liberia for about 30 years. And so this man now is in Liberia for the first time because he's a big supporter of Mr. Cummings and he has decided to show up for Red Day, right? on the ATS on Sunday. So this is the kind of excitement. This is what is happening to people who see the hope and the aspiration in Mr. Cummings. And he's going there to his family that he's been supporting all this long, and he's taking them to the ATS. So all of them can overwhelmingly make this declaration of Mr. Cummings, is the right man, and they're going to put the support behind him.
Okay, so before as we continue, the people also want to know who is exactly speaking.
This is Duke. This is Duke speaking. Emmerich will join us. He's a little cut up right now. He's on the line, but he's actually busy at work, and so I'll be doing a little bit of the talking to them until he comes in.
Okay. So over the time, we've been seeing a lot about Mr. Cummings, especially the plans he has for Liberia. So this is something, as we are aware, campaign is hoping. This is something that it must be repeatedly said so that the people of Liberia, especially the citizens that are under the sound of your voices, will get to understand totality. Now, like we discussed in past time, we also want to reiterate what are the major plans that Mr. Cummings has in the that when he is elected as Liberia's next president, he's planning to work on it so that it can benefit the lives of the Liberian people that you want to talk about tonight.
Yes, thank you. Another great question. Look, I've said this here, constantly, and I'll continue to say this. For Mr. Cummings, he sees Liberia, right, in a manner that a lot of people, right, wouldn't have the eyes to see with, because those people that lack the vision, right, to really, be able to not only see the issues, but to be able to provide solution. On day one, as part of our first 100 days plan, we want to tackle the issue of corruption. We believe that corruption in government is something that we can actually make a statement on from day one. So the way we want to do it, Mr. Cummings does not want to take salary as president. He's not going to take a salary. So the Liberian people, monies, he will not take it as a compensation. What he's going to do, because according to law, you still have to be able to, accept it, but he's going to ask that those monies are redirected to key accountability sector. And so what it means by accountability sector is that those people or those organizations or those groups, right? Let me just say that agencies that we have in government that's responsible for holding people accountable, right, with public funds. He wants to empower them. He wants to make sure that they're empowered enough to be able to take on the task of recouping the Liberian people money and protecting a government from, embezzlement, mismanagement as well. That's just one aspect. The second key aspect of this, and there are many more, right? Number one, he wants to tackle drug addiction. You heard the issue. You guys are all familiar with what we call about the rising, the increment in the less fortunate people there. Our young brother, we call them Zokos, but it's not an appropriate term. We want to give them some kind of dignity, right? So he sees that Mr. Cummings said he wants to use something called supply and demand approach. What is it is that we figured that the drugs are being imported from somewhere, right? So that's a supply route. We want to be able to find a way to see how best we can help, right? Put mechanism in to stop the flow of drugs. And then there has to be a demand aspect, right? Meaning our people, the young people, are buying these drugs and they're using it, right? What are those key issues that are causing young people to buy drugs, right? And we look at the economic challenges that they're facing. Some of these young people don't have the trade, they don't have the skill, and there are no jobs in the country, which leads me to my next part, the economy. We understand that the economy in Liberia can be fixed. We can put people back to work. We can make sure our farmers in Nima County, our mine park, when they have the crops, they've worked hard, that they'll be able to sell it on the market where people will be able to purchase those things from them. So from an economic standpoint, we want to build a vibrant private sector by ensuring that our people can sell the crops. So agriculture is going to be a really critical part of what Mr. Cummings is doing to be able to change the economy. In addition to agriculture, there's this thing called ecotourism. So looking at our natural environment, because with all the wars that happen, all the destruction in that country, we don't have this natural environment, those five-star environment, we'll call them. So we want to use the natural environment. Nima County's got a lot of beautiful areas. Look at Cyclopedia. Look at all the other places there, right? There's a natural place where we can use our natural habitat to be able to spur economic growth and put our people back to work. So we've identified ecotourism as a company to identify ecotourism as a way to start kickstarting the economy, where we can provide local economy jobs, movements in the economy by bringing companies, by bringing businesses and other things to be able to help. And then from a small business standpoint, a lot of our people are involved in small businesses. You look at our farmers, you look at our man who say in the market, you look at the importers and all of those things, the gas seller, all of those things. We are saying that there has to be a way in which all of those people can get the kind of support that they need, right, to be able to provide the level of movement in the economy. So what we're going to do is to focus on building a private sector that works for everybody. So if you ask me, just in a summary, corruption, we want to create jobs and want to fight the issue of drug addiction, and we want to make sure that government is decentralized, wherein all of the various counties, you don't have to leave from Nima County to drive to all the way to Monrovia before you can get things done. So decentralizing government is going to be another key component of what Mr. Cummings wants to do in the first 100 days.
Okay, so that is good. I think with all of that, because normally you will hear people say, no, these are all things that people say to win power. And when they win the power, they do the contrary. So now, what assurance do the Liberian people have with Mr. Kumi that all the good things you need are definitely going to be done, or they're going to be abandoned when he shall have won the Liberian presidency?
Thank you. And let me say this here, Timothy. It is okay when people ask these questions, because you know what? I'm not a stranger. I understand that in Liberia, politicians will come and talk and say all of these things, and then when you put them into the office, it doesn't happen. The good thing here is Mr. Cummings is not a politician. He's a businessman who sees that his country has been strangulated by the lapses in our government, right? In our governance structure. And he has a strong business acumen that he believes, right? With his decades with worth of experience that he can be able to bring, right? To be able to change the lives of the people. What I will encourage the people to see is that, look, the record of Mr. Cummings is a proven record. It shows that he's a man of his word. It shows he's a man who wants change. Let me say this to you. Coca-Cola wrote a letter they submitted a media publication in July of 2015. You know what it said? It said that, the Coca-Cola company today announced that the executive vice president and chief administrative officer, Alexander Cummings, will retire in March of 2016 after more than 18 years of distinguished service to the company. A highly respected leader within Coca-Cola system. Cummings joined the Coca-Cola company in 1997, right? And he was from being the deputy region manager for Nigeria, and then quickly advancing to become president of the Coca-Cola Africa Group in 2001. This is a man who, who was able to work hard, right, to be able to build a career for himself, but to make Liberia proud, right? Because in the end, Mr. Cummings figured out, look, I am this boy that was born in Point Four, Liberia, and I've been given a unique opportunity to make sure that I'm doing all I can to be able to bring this level of change to my people, to bring some kind of pride to Liberian people. So his record shows that he has been excellent when it comes to actually, succeeding in his role. Now, in terms of being, confident enough to say that he's not making these statements and then giving him the job, and then he forget about ordinary people, let's go back to his history. He made promises to the people of Nimba. He kept it. He invested in the Nimba University and even the community college. Mr. Cummings was also behind the low mini clinic hospital that was actually, built in Nimba County there. The low clinic that helped with people that Lawrence Schwa and others was able to construct it. In addition to that, to the people of Liberia, several universities across the country, he has actually invested his own resources without being a government employee or, somebody in public service. This man, hearing that the people or nurses in Lofa County were not getting paid by government, took his own money, millions in Liberian dollars, and paid the salaries of hospital workers at the largest referral hospital in Lofa County, right? During the time in COVID, when the government did not have the resources to fully staff some of these hospitals and provide the medication needed to treat people, Alexander Cummings took his money, 150,000 United States dollar plus, right? Took the resources to the Cummings Africa Foundation to be able to put drugs in the hospital. During Ebola, almost $500,000. Alexander Cummings went and brought drugs into the country, medical supplies, to be able to fight Ebola as well. This is somebody who has made his own individual effort to help his people. He has never left the people of Liberia. He has used his own resources to impact the lives of the ordinary people. And somebody like that does not want government as a way to enrich himself. That's why he said, look, my people, I don't want you to pay me. He's not taking any money as president. I am blessed. He always says that. Thankfully, I am blessed and I'm grateful to God. The main reason why I want to be president, according to Mr. Cummings, is that I see that I have dominated on the international stage. I have made my country proud. Some of the things that I learned, I believe that when I'm president, I can implement those things and be able to give our people the type of life that they need. So the presidency for Mr. Cummings is an opportunity to leave behind a legacy. This is why he's different. This is why he comes with a different skill set. This is why I believe he's going to transform the country. And he's not a politician. He's a businessman. He will be able to answer those concerns and provide solutions for some of the things that ordinary people are facing.
That is good. So that is always something where, excuse me, a lot of people will always want to move because their thinking is, oh, we already suffering. We don't want to put somebody there that will increase the suffering. We want to see our lives changing and all of these things. So these are the reasons why we always want these questions to be answered.
And
so we also
No. And Timothy, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I want to say that those are all legitimate concerns, right? Yeah. But I will also say to those people, and I want the Liberian people to be honest here with me today, right? All the concerns that they have, right, about politicians coming in and not living up to the expectations, right? The people who are responsible are the same ones that are coming back today again to ask them to vote for them. You cannot make that argument. You understand me? You cannot make that argument, or you cannot have those concerns, right, and support, the other two candidates in this race, because they have shown you, right, over time, that after you have entrusted them, they have not changed Liberia. That's why Mr. Cummings' message is unique. This is why we're telling you vote for Alexander Cummings and Charlene Bromskin, because the both of them brings together something different that we have not experienced in our country when it comes to leadership. Something different that we have not seen when it comes to, the type of leadership that we're looking for. So we're saying, look, my people, it is not difficult for that not progress, right? It is not difficult for you to see that with all that we've done, electing people into public service, giving them jobs, and hoping that it will change the lives of the ordinary people, it has not yielded the kind of results that we look for. So the only way that we can fix this issue, the only way we can solve this particular problem, the only way we can address all of the concern is to look outside of this system and say, you know what, enough is enough. We need people who come with the vision and the type of leadership to be able to drive results. And this is what Mr. Cummings and Charlene Bromskin bring.
Okay. So, no, thank you very much. There's another concern I want us to dive into.
Yes, sir.
Many people always say, look, Mr. Cummings is a good man. He doesn't matter. He lost the people of Liberia. But there's always this rumor that is circulating in the inner cycle that Mr. Cummings is into gay rights, meaning the story that his election as Liberian next president is going to introduce this gay right and make it a public thing into the country. So this is one thing that many people are always having in their mind that is some say it may lead them not to election because of this gay right thing. So you guys can talk about it so that the Liberian people can know whether it's true or not.
Okay, Timothy, thanks for asking that question. Timothy, a long time ago in our country, there were people who thought that they were so strong enough, you understand me, to use lies, right, that led to the murder, the execution of our people in Nimba County. You understand me? You see the thing called lies. It has a way of destroying people, changing people's lives.
Sure.
All of those things that people have circulated, they're all lies. You know why? Because they try seshing the main record. They have not fought anything to show or say that this man here, right, is a bad person. And so the only thing that they had to do was to lie. Timothy, I will send you another video because you know my own, when we come on the show, we like to present facts. Everything that we say here will provide a record to you, right? I will send you a video. There was a man who was initially part of the CDC called Obed. That one, he was actually expelled from the U.S. military for being a liar. He lied to the American government and they expelled him, they kicked him out of the military. The same lies. This man, when this man decided to support the CDC, they came up with a lie. And there's a video of him confessing. He came up and made up this lie about Mr. Cummings because he felt that politically it would have given them an advantage. Mr. Cummings was actually born to parents who are highly religious. His father was an Episcopal priest. This man grew up in Liberia, Point 4. He believes in the traditional values of our family. Not one point in time Mr. Cummings have ever, right, been who they have accused him. Actually, Mr. Cummings is married with children. For many years, he had been married to his wife, Teresa Cummings. So those things are all lies, the fallacy. If you're concerned about gay rights, blame your current government. Because the current government of the Republic of Liberia recently signed gay rights. You're not paying attention? The Liberian government went overseas and they put their signature on gay rights, right? They did that. So let's focus on the issues and let's start lying. Look, the lies kill people in that country. The lies caused 250,000 people to die because of civil war. Don't go ahead and lie on the good man because of your own insecurity. But I will pray that when we send you this video, that you please find a time, 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes, and play it to the people so they can listen.
Yeah, let me come in quick. This is Emery, Timothy. The video Duke is talking about, I just sent the video to Danny's phone. We've talked about this before. Even the guy who actually put out this lie, he's somehow linked to a company. It's embarrassing to know that Emmanuel is somehow related to the late Isaac Down from Belgium over there for a company. And I just sent out Danny the video. I mean, it will be wise. I think it will be good. We have so much time. It will be good to just play it for the people to hear. Nothing is wrong. He came confessing. In fact, when we went to Texas a couple of years ago for the convention, he came to beg Mr. Cummings. He came to the feet of Mr. Cummings to beg.
I have a picture of him.
Wow.
So
yes.
We have
the picture of him.
In fact, we took pictures together.
We took pictures.
He came begging to apologize as to why he created that, and that was a lie. We have it. The video is I sent it down right now. You can play on the national radio. That people listen to his confession. It's not manufactured. It's not from us. We didn't create it. He was upset because when he did that, he felt that Weah was going to George Weah was going to give him some job.
Make him defense minister.
Okay, it did not happen. He was upset that he lied for Weah, and now Weah cannot, be able to deliver. So play it for us to listen. It's less than 3 or 4 minutes. You can play it for us to listen. Let the audience, let the listeners, let them listen to it.
Okay. So we'll have the time to play that when our director of program arrives. So that is something good because this act that was put together was actually put to damage one person's character. So if that is why the awareness must always be done so that this can be corrected. Because a lot of people across Liberia, have believed it over the time. They've actually believed that it's true about Mr. Cummings, that he's interested into this gay rights law. That when he is elected, that's one reason, according to a lot of rumors, that's one reason he is fighting to be elected as Liberia's next president. And when that is done, the gay rights can publicly be done and they can be passed into law. So the awareness, the awareness must be done so that this can be raised.
Danny, Timothy, this is the point, right? This is Emery. I do not have to lie to create lies or anyone to give an advantage to my candidate. I don't have to say egregious things about anybody to give an advantage to Mr. Cummings. I don't have to go and create things in my mind and put to the public because people with integrity, they don't do those things. You go to the issue and discuss the issue. Do not be malicious. Politics is not anything malicious. People think that you have to be wicked. They think you have to be hateful. To me, it's a form of wickedness and hate when you do something, when you are diabolical, when you lie like that. Of course, you think that you're giving yourself an advantage, but you are also teaching the generation to come, right? You are teaching them something bad. You are polluting the environment. When you start to lie like that, the younger ones that look up to us, you are not sending any good message to them. This is the reason why when we come on, we always submit the facts that even when we are not on Tuesdays or on Saturdays and so, you can still play, you can still be able to research and get the truth because we don't want to come and say things that we cannot back, that we don't have the facts to. Then it makes us to look like liars. And we have always fought for our integrity because that's the only thing that money cannot buy. That's the only thing that has so much value that you cannot add even any money to it. You cannot do it. Your integrity, your honesty, those things are things that go a long way from generation to generation. Know that you're from a family, you guys were guided, you guys have integrity. Those things are the bedrock of any family, the foundation of any family, good family or good country. When you find people have morals, have integrity, that's how you start to build a better nation. So I will give Duke the chance to come in.
Yeah. Look, Timothy.
Yeah.
Let's, I highly encourage people pay attention to the issues and focus on the issues. If we have to create lies and deception because we think that we cannot find something or somebody in lie, it's not right. Okay, this man has done nothing wrong to anybody. He has been very committed to the Liberian people. Here's a man that's married with children for more than 40 plus years. Okay? Not one day will you hear anything negative about this man. You see, Liberians, look, Timothy, I honestly believe this is why our country is cursed. And we need to pray that the curse move from that country. Because when we lie on good people, it is a serious thing. When we lie on people just because we want to lie, it is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. Let's be honest here. We can't just continue to lie on people and we think that it's okay. All right? Don't lie on somebody. Okay? That thing was never true. It was all a fallacy. It was far from the truth. Mr. Cummings is a son of an Episcopal preacher. A man who believes in his faith. All right? A man who's got upbringing, even in the Nima County, has been very dedicated to his people. But these things came from the mouths of people who are not productive. The same people who sit there and continue to lie. The same people who brought, the current president on the Liberian people today. And they didn't get the jobs that they want, then they turn their back. Let's not do that. These are the same things that led to the slaughtering of our people in our country. And we cannot subject ourselves to that. Mr. Cummings is a good man who comes with a lot. He's the most qualified candidate. The first person running for public office that has invested more of his money into the Liberian people than any political candidate. I challenge anybody on the record. The only person running for public office in the history of Liberia that have invested his own personal money into Liberia more than any political candidate, Alexander Cummings. And he's more qualified and competent. These are the conversations we're having, and these are the important issues that voters should be looking at.
So now that you said this man who planned and plotted this against Mr. Cummings came begging on the street, has he been able to take the Liberia media to let the Liberian people know this was something he plotted because he could not find something else?
We got the video. We have the video. We sent you the video.
This is important, right?
Go ahead.
Let me come in. This is the pattern we see in our people. The same folks, let me tell you this. The same folks that came and said, George Weah was going to be a better president. George Weah was going to go and uplift the people from the downtrodden, from the impoverished conditions, the deplorable conditions. It did not work, right? But then you see influx of them, right? When Duke spoke about laziness, Duke spoke about laziness. That's a reminder of your character. These people don't want to go through hard work. These people, even in America, where you have abundance of opportunities, they are still lazy. So what they do, they feed into lies because they know that with someone like Mr. Cummings, it's about hard work, it's about integrity, it's about honesty, it's about morality. They don't want to go through those things because the easiest path is to lie and feed it. So you find them shifting. Most of them that came and told you people that President Weah was going to deliver the country out of poverty, out of we're going to create a place where we're going to be prosperous. Now you see them, the easiest path is to shift to JME because JME, the type of leadership, you will not have that type of leadership that will scrutinize people, that will sit and look at people for their records and stuff. Am I saying he's a bad person? I'm just saying he's not a good leader when it comes to being analytical, when it comes to seeing people and say, you know, these problems we have had, I cannot. And people say, oh, what about the CPP? I cannot bring certain people and give them that platform. People with the past bad behaviors. I cannot make them to be the voice of my campaign or the voice of my political party. But you see what's happening in the CPP. Most cases when they come to the CPP or when they come to Mr. Cummings, I will tell you this one thing. Once they cannot comply with the type of policy, the type of rules, the type of person that Mr. Cummings is, or what he brings to the table, especially hard work, integrity, those things, you see them, they spend no time, they leave. You know why they leave? It's not that they leave because Mr. Cummings, but they don't want the hard way. They don't want to work hard. When Mr. Cummings, when you're around people that know him,
you're following with live on Blue Shepherd Radio in Impact County. And today we're talking about Mr. Cummings. We're talking about the CPP. We're talking about, October 1st, Fixers Day.
The prosperity of Liberia, the growth of Liberia. Mr. Cummings said from day one, right after inauguration, the people are going to work. That's a true statement. That's Mr. Cummings. So our society, they're so entrenched. I'm not saying everybody's lazy, but most of us, because we have not understood anything about hard work, most of us. So we want the easy way. The easy way, we always pick the easy way. The whole group of people, like the guy who did that video and so, you see him propagating for JMB, for Joseph Yoma Puaka. It's not because, but he knows that when he comes to Cummings, he may not have the credential and the hard work and the ethics to be able to stay with that thing. So the easiest path again is the same way. The same way with Eugene Fagon. After George Weah, where you find Eugene Fagon, who just said Yuma Puaka. The same way with Prince Johnson after George Weah, you find him with Joseph Yuma Puaka. With Bob Naked, the same thing with Bob Naked. After he's been all around preaching, the next thing he's a rescue soldier. We see it from one person to the other. The consistency in the behavioral process of these people, we see it. They move from one place to the other. They would never get tired because they look for the loopholes, the laziness to be able to bring the same old ways into the society. That's why they are not a change maker. That's why they cannot change Liberia.
Okay, thank you, guys. We also want to welcome the director of program, Mr. Danny. He's in studio. I think he's joining us in the conversation.
Dan, nice talking to you, my brother.
Yeah, okay, gentlemen. It's been a while. I've been suffering from the flu, but I'm back on my feet again. And
sorry to hear so.
I was lucky to be a part of this show tonight. I hope you guys are doing okay. I've been following the conversation from start until present. But I got a question from you.
Go ahead.
For you. Right. Now, every time you come on the air, you got to preach how Cummings is going to bring heaven to earth. And my question, can you sincerely tell us whether Mr. Cummings also has his own shortcoming as a human being, that he's liable to mistake at some point in time, or he's free, absolutely free from everything?
So, Dan, thanks for the question. And these are the questions that we embrace. First and foremost, I think it would be wrong for me to say that, a human being is perfect. But imperfection does not mean that he's corrupt. right? Imperfection does not mean that he's unproductive. Imperfection does not mean that all of the things in terms of bad governance that we see in our country, he has to trace. No, it means that Mr. Cummings, right, is a man who comes with principle, who comes with integrity. When we talk about corruption, his hand will never be inside. When we talk about being productive, he will always be productive. So, we all have our own personal lives, and there's some things that we may say and some things that we may do that doesn't make us perfect. But when we're looking at perfection, when we're talking about those things that guide leaders, right? In terms of Liberia, for instance, looking at integrity, looking at being a president for the people, I believe he has all of those qualities, and those are the things that I'm speaking to. Now, another thing I want to respond to, Dan, is that look, this is not about promising that Mr. Cummings is going to bring heaven to earth. I wouldn't want us to see it that way, because nobody is capable of bringing heaven to earth. What we're suggesting is then there's been a consistent issue of lack of governance, a consistent issue of corruption, a consistent issue wherein there's lack of job growth. So those particular issues we see have held Liberia back, have stopped our people or students or even employees from realizing the full potential. We are saying to be able to solve those issues, we need people with the expertise, somebody with the leadership, somebody who comes with the integrity that will be able to drive results. And I believe there is nobody in this race. There is not a single individual in this election that are more competent and qualified than Mr. Cummings. And after all, to be honest with you, he is the most competent, the most qualified person, and the only person that can be able to provide solution for those issues that I've actually stated. So he's not a perfect person, but he's not a corrupt person. He's not unproductive. And yes, he will solve Liberia's problem.
And then let me just add on to what you just said in reference to the question you just asked. This is Emmerich again. Mr. Cummings is fallible. All right, he's somebody who is he's prone to making mistakes. We can never ever take the description of God and put it on anyone. That's not how we are. Okay, so the analogy of bringing heaven to earth, I think maybe it's your way, and I can't critique it, but I think it's over exaggerated. Okay, so if you look at Mr. Cummings in Liberia, we have had a country where decades, almost a century, we have gone right, and we have not found that many people that would demonstrate true character, honesty, integrity. It becomes a problem if someone has that. And I will say again, we in Liberia we're so good at putting labels on people, right? When you speak properly, when you speak good, all that man won't be Queen, man, you won't be American. When you act straight, yeah, our own parents, some of them in the interior there, that's so straight. They got ethics, right? They got morals. When they all that men are Christian, cool. We say these things often. And we all know we're from the same culture, we're from the same society. All that one about Mother Mary. She thinks she's the only honest person. If you're in a group and one person say, oh, that money we can eat and that money we can do it, the other person, you the Christian, cool. That's the type of culture we are because we have been so entrenched. It's very inherent in us, in our DNA to be corrupt, right? Because it's one of the things we see that's prevalent in our society. So we see those things, we adapt to it, we are the product of our society. Once we become the product of our society, we tend to take some of those bad things and think that it's normal. But if somebody who is normal in a sense of being or trustworthy, we take that person to be abnormal. Abnormal behavior, we think that is normal. So it's just, some of the examples, some of the things we are going through as a country, and that's the reason why we are stuck. We are stuck. Instead of progressing, we are regressing. And good thing, Dan, I said, Danny, thank you for coming on. And I sent you that video and for you to be able to play, please.
Okay. Everett, thank you very much for answering the question. Now, what I also want to know, we have not really done our SWOT analysis surrounding Mr. Cummings. You guys have been closer to him. You guys are closer to him. You You have been closer to him over the years, and you knew him better than I do, than those that are listening to you right now. Now, Mr. Cummings is well noted for being a businessman internationally. Now, Mr. Cummings should come to the presidency as a businessman with a business idea. Now, let me just try to go straight into what the question is. Madam Salih is an economist. When she came to the presidency, she tried to utilize economics and to restrict what Liberia was going to do economically, and then people cried for him that she was taught money was not here, things were like this, things were like that. And then getting back to the 80s, from what I read, also for Mr. Bakai. Bakai is an agriculturist. And there was 480 million given to him by the United States government. And what I read from his text quite recently when he threatened that if anyone attempts to steal the election, there will be no more Liberia. If you follow his statement down, he said when he was in charge, a chicken was not imported into this country. Now, my question is, people come to the profession, people come to the presidency with that perfection. Kumi is a businessman. He does not have any leadership when it comes to presidency. Won't he bring the business idea that will also have people cry?
So, Dan, let me respond to that question.
Yeah.
And thanks for asking these questions. I appreciate you guys, and I think our people can learn better when you ask these questions. That's what journalists should do. Dan, let me say this to you.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to erect some checkpoints and to be able to bring clarity. Let's start with Madame Salih. Madame Salih is a respected global icon, and adored. She came into government and she took on the debt waiver thing in Fort Ferry, right? I would say respectfully, Madame Salih, in terms of the experience that she has, right, is nowhere close to what Alexander Cummings brings. This is all facts. Mr. Cummings is more qualified. Mr. Cummings comes into government when elected as president as one of the most decorated, right, individual that we've ever had in that country. Is proven. This is the fact. He was head of one of the top, global corporation that's worth billions of dollars in valuation. In addition to that, he oversaw more than 3 times the budget of Liberia. He has worked in complex economic environments across Africa. He was the manager of Coca-Cola Global Africa. All of those things he did, he comes in with the expertise. I will get to that part. Let's go back to Joseph Boyka. Look, Dan, let's be truthful here. What kind of agricultural experience that this man had that changed the lives of the people? Let's look at Nima County. Wherein the people from Nima County can say today, farming is better, agriculture is better in Nima County because of what the LPMC and the Ministry of Agriculture did. When you do things in government, you leave behind a legacy. Let me share this to you. In America today, some of the things that we're benefiting from, when they happen? They happen way in the 60s. I was having a conversation with my father. My father was here in the 70s. And right before, they were able to pass laws here to make black people equal citizens than white people. There were a lot of challenges. Today, I can walk in this country as a child from Liberia, a black man, and be able to survive, to work along with white people in this country. You know why it happened? Because of people who fought for reform. Yeah. What kind of experience that Joseph Boyka brought in agriculture that stole more than $400 million from the United States government? So we need to be factual and truthful. On the side of Mr. Cummings, I know what the question's going. Let me just say this to you, Dan. Mr. Cummings operates several businesses in Liberia. The last time when they interviewed him, I wonder his compounds, the apartment complex, they carry life. Young people were there, people were there. He took them through on the tour. They saw his business. Mr. Cummings been investing in other small business owners, young Liberian entrepreneurs. He has given them help. He has actually invested in the business. He established the Cummings Science and Technology School, wherein young children now, based upon a grade point average, get free scholarship to be able to further the education. His expertise and his business acumen is the reason why today Liberia has benefited from some of the decisions, some of the help of the Coca-Cola and other major corporations as well. We are not saying that the criteria for leadership should be what people have done for us as private citizens. It should be about competence. And then I want you to be truthful. If Joseph Boycott was a qualified person, and if Mr. Boycott had changed Liberia today, will we be looking for another president, or will we be looking for leaders? Will our farmers in Nimba County today still be struggling for some of the most basic things? Come on now. The truth is we need reform in that country. And this is what this man brings. He comes with an argument that's going to see our private sector from different lenses, that sees that the people in Nimba County, the cocoa, the coffee, all of the farmers there, there are ways that we can actually improve the businesses. Our young children in the colleges at the Nimba University, the community colleges where Mr. Cummings give millions of dollars to. He says that these children, when they graduate from university, they need to have jobs in the private sector. This is his vision. That's why we have been the only political party that have consistently informed the Liberian people about what we intend to do from day one. Put the people back to work, fight corruption, making sure we're tackling the war on drugs, making sure that we're decentralizing government and not doing it based upon the muff talk, as you would say, doing it based upon we have or proving better. And Mr. Cummings is the one who has worked in those areas, and he see the opportunity for Liberia. That's our argument, and this is why we're saying that the people of Liberia should elect him as the next president of Liberia.
The people in Liberia dedicated Alexander Cummings will be a very lucky man to win this presidency. October 6th. He's going to be presiding over 72 lawmakers. And who knows? He might have minority of the lawmakers from the ANC. And what we have realized in the Liberian government over the years is you also have to have an idea of your lawmakers. You also have to listen to your lawmakers or back up from you and you say them. Now, if he is to get there, and then he brings some other things on the table that the lawmakers might look at very practical and might not approve it, and he came up with something. So those are some of the reasons why when people are counter-claiming the leadership of a president, we are very slow to act and react.
Yeah.
You're not going to do everything. You got to be constructive of people. And then that, if that is the case, what will happen? Because we're already complaining that Alexander Cummings is a tight man. He can give, that man is harsh, that man tight, that man release, that man not friendly. And then he should become a president.
Dan, good question. Is it Dan? Dan, you asked the question, right? So then yeah. This is Emmerich. We ask ourselves, what do we want? We talk about wasteful spending in our country, right? So what do you want a president who will say, we're going to cut back on travelers, we're going to decrease the burden, the bloated salary, and see how we can take that money and redirect it into a vibrant private sector? So the question then, each and every one, what do we want? Do we want a president who will just spend because you think you're going to support your families and friends, or do you want a president who will be responsible in spending the people's money? So if you look at what's happening in Liberia, I think with more education, our people will get to understand the presidency. One, Mr. Cummings said that he cannot impact the lives of each and every one from just being that ordinary person in the country. And that's true. The presidency we have, Liberians, we have made the presidency to be so supreme. So for me, and this is how I see it, any other person is debatable, you have your opinion about it. If you make a decision for the better good of the country, in Liberia, our laws are not conflicting. Our laws, you talk about if he does not, if the Senate or the representatives and so don't buy into his ideas and so on and go against it. The question, if Mr. Cummings is doing it for the better good of the country, don't you think that he will have the support of the masses or the people? Our lawmakers have been so entrenched with taking money, taking bribes, and so from the executive branch. Today we see that when you're the president, even though you have lawmakers from different parties, right, they still support the act of the presidency, even if it's good or bad, they just support it. We don't want a president. We want a president who will be able to even use his veto power to sacrifice for the people. And there's nothing wrong with it. We want a president who will say, if lawmakers supposed to make this money, let's reevaluate and see and cut back on some of the wasteful spending, like a phone, how they call it, phone card, gasoline, and those things. Those things are all the abuses we see in our country. So when you have a president who's going to stand up for the people, with the people, and say we have to cut back because those are the places we are spending and wasting the resources of the country. Would you have a problem with that in the country? You're going to be very, very happy to have a president who will take that position. And even if he's going to use his vetoing power to make everybody better in the country, I will support it. Am I saying he's going to be vetoing? No. He has to work with everybody. But when it comes to working with everybody, it simply means the least person to in the society to make sure they are uplifted. The least people to make sure they are uplifted. If that cannot happen, I would not want to support a communist presidency.
Yeah. So Dan, quickly, yeah.
We will not consider a lot of those things to be wasteful. What we are looking at, those things that have been done, are things that are constitutionally provided by our Liberian law, and so based upon that, it must be practiced where people got to be satisfied, and people like what the lawmakers we're talking about.
So, but Dan,
let me answer. I come back. Let's say you say it's constitutional, right? Let us be realistic.
Yeah.
The agricultural break. What's the meaning of the agricultural break?
The agricultural break is intended for lawmakers to go back to their constituents and then make some agricultural arrangement. I mean, people need to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, but how many, despite that the implementation aspect of it, how many people do you see can come out and say they have a farm, their farm producing, and their farm employ people, and those things are so? How many do you find?
Now, to me, I can't see it. I haven't been seeing it, but I realize that more than 5, 6, 7, 19 presidents that have come and gone have not taken any action in that. So why
but that's what we're saying. He just said it. You said there are so many presidents that have not done it. It's because Mr. Cummings, a person, is a principle-minded person. Whatsoever he says, he follows through. We've seen it over and over. People felt that Mr. Cummings, when he got accused, when he got falsely accused of fingering document, right? People laughed and made mockery of it, that he was also on prisoner of bench and all of those things. You know why it did not move Mr. Cummings? Because if you want to change your country, you have to change by example. You cannot go and start criticizing the judiciary system before you can even have it. If Mr. Cummings had gone on air to even criticize the judiciary system, then it was going to put good judges, good people with good intention in a very bad position. And when you say change the country, excuse me? But what happened? What happened with the kids? What happened with the kids, right? You saw what happened. The court had to do what was right, to throw it out because it was frivolous. It was false, it was misleading, it was concocted. And that's the reason why you see Mr. Cummings got vindicated just because of his action. When you to bring about change in any country, it's never easy. You have to go through criticism, you have to go through tough times, you have to go through the challenges. And that's what Mr. Cummings has been going through since he entered Liberia.
Okay, Emery, let me just, we've been speaking like our time should be over now, but I'm just telling the guys to hold on a little, maybe like 2-3 minutes. If it comes to Liberian politics, next to Maserati, when it comes to producing the highest voters, next to Maserati is Nimba. Ever since the campaign activity started, we haven't seen Alexander Cummings or ANC patrolling everywhere in the major parts of Nimba. And if I continue to preach, he's not going to get food from Nimba.
Dan, that's incorrect. Dan, no, let me answer Emery. I was something there. Dan, Nimba is a big county. Let me remind you that the work that we've done in Nimba started way before campaign time. All right. Right after 2017, ANC Global adopted Nimba as a priority county. We had the Nimba Auxiliary that were headed by a couple of our people from Nimba in the diaspora and even on the ground. Now, we can all agree that the dynamics changed when Kong became the running mate to Joseph Boyka. However, remember this, that Nimba County voted for Mr. Cummings in the 2017 election, right? He didn't win the county, but it was impressive. Also notice going forward that since 2017, amongst any politician in that county, Mr. Cummings has actually invested his own money or resources in the people of Nimba County. So there are people who support Mr. Cummings. There's the ability factor on that side of Nimba County and from that district as well. Now, I wouldn't say outrightly that we're going to win Nimba, but I'm sure that the people from Nimba County will be able to understand that as well. Look, we're running our campaign running a campaign that's based on the people of Liberia. And one thing we don't want to do is to just make it seem like it's just only about one group. We believe that we have a unique message in terms of what the Liberian people want or what the Liberian people deserve. This is the message that we're going to push. And in the end, those who want real change in Liberia will see that Mr. Cummings is the better candidate. And those who think something else will support who they need to support. But I'm confident that the people of Nimba County understands who's here for them and who has been always visible when it comes to helping the children go back to school through the monies that Cummings put into Nimba University and the community college. When it comes to hospitals in that county, the money that he's invested in. When it comes to employing people, a daughter of Nimba County works for Mr. Cummings directly in his office. He has surrounded himself by people of Nimba, and the people of Nimba should understand, because this man has been there for you, and you can't turn your back on Cummings.
We need somebody to remind the people of all of the counties about the good things that Cummings has done, and that you are mentioning. We need people to remind them at this point in time, and that's not happening.
Yeah, I agree. So apart, I agree. But then this is the point, in Liberia, and I keep saying, if you want change, our approach, we just have to do things differently. We understand that, yeah, you may not see overwhelming visibility in the county, but listen, it's not today, okay? Mr. Cummings started engaging the people long ago, right after 2017. What was it? People felt that Mr. Cummings was going to leave from Liberia, right? Well, he has spent most of his time in Nimba and invested heavily, like Duke said. Nimba is not the places that Mr. Cummings got more people that support him. He may not come across you, but you are a journalist, and I keep saying we have a long list of things that we submit and we say for you to verify. So it's almost impractical, and that's just the truth, for you to touch on each and every one. But we should have an attitude where if we want change, we have to look for change. We have to even put our own effort to in changing our country. What I'm doing right now, I will tell you that I'm putting in the time, right? And then you have your side to be able to help with the change process. Change is not one man's job. Change is everyone's.
Okay, Everett, thank you. We're going to give you guys 1 more minute each to wrap up. But I got a video you just sent professionally. We got to play this video off air first. We got to do our own digital fact finding to know whether the sources, whether this video is going to agree with what we just took on. And after that is done, it's well digested. Our next show, we are going to do some elaboration after we are going to do that, and then we'll be able to play the video. So we might not be playing the video tonight because it's just here. Probably we have not gone into it to know the start to the end. So we can just put it on and we're going to do our own digital fact checking. So we want you guys to take 1 minute each and wrap up because we're going 2 minutes into the next program. Please.
Yeah, thank you. So Dan, Timothy, great show. The people of Nimba County, Good Shepherd Radio, best radio station in Nimba County. These guys should be #1 journalists in the entire Nimba County because they're really good at what they do. And I say that. Look, we are approaching the final stage of decision making. Whatever happens on October 10th, the Liberian people can find a way out of all of the things that they've been concerned about, or they can return to the past. We're giving a future to Alexander Cummings. We believe that he's competent, he's qualified, and he has all of the solutions to be able to address our economic issues and some of the issues of integrity and corruption that you speak highly of. So we look forward to talking to our people. Please remember Nimba County, when you were in need for your children to go to school, to build engineering college, to build university, Alexander Cummings took his money and sponsored the people of Nimba. You must remember that, because when you're in need, he was always there for you. Don't turn your back on somebody who will help you, because I'm telling you, this man has been a blessing to the people of Nimba County, and you should remember him for that. Yes.
So there, this is Emery. Just for you have a question for Emery. Yeah. No, I was just yeah, but let me quick. Thanks to you all. Yeah, thanks for you all for having us. There's only one thing. It's time to reflect, to think about your conditions. Think about, what do you need? What do you want for Liberia? Think about those things. Make the hard decisions, because when you're in the voting booth, nobody's going to be there. But think about who is able to change that country based on not only what we say, but what you have read, what you know. Think about it. You have done things the same way for so long. It never happened. You have never experienced change. It's the time. It won't take you. You won't take any. Look, it's going to take a risk with Mr. Cummings and say, let's try it. We have done the same thing over and over. Let's try somebody different. So I would say thank you, and then Timothy, I would say thanks to you all. No, let me tell you this, Good Shepherd, everybody better get in Nimba. If you have not listened to Good Shepherd, I would say tune in, let it be your radio station now going forward. It's the best radio station you can find, not only in Nimba, but in the whole country. I say it. Best station you can ever listen to. It's based on what? Based on, I think, the balance and objectivity from you guys. I don't care. You don't base your professionalism on friendship, okay? You ask the tough questions, and then you dig a lot deeper into the issue, and then you stand and hold your grounds. You do your research before coming on. Like the video I sent you, it shows that you guys are professional. You say you cannot play it until you authenticate, until you go back, listen to it. That's what a good journalist is supposed to do. And that's the reason why I would say Good Shepherd is the #1 radio station now. You guys are taking over the country. I know sooner or later, trust me, people will want to tune you. I'm serious about it.
Okay, I do get Everett. We'd like to say thank you ever so much. I would ask this question. I'm going to ask this question when we come back, God willing, on Saturday. That's going to be the very first question. When you conclude that by saying, take the risk with Mr. Cummings, you will get to define the word risk and why take the risk if Mr. Cummings is the best person. So I don't want you to answer it right now. Maybe you're talking off air, but that'll be the best question on Saturday. Thanks for appearing on our show this evening.
Thank you. I go Nimba Yazi.
Okay.
All right, my people. This was, another round of our radio show on Good Shepherd Radio, Nimba County. The fellows there, they're pretty good. It's been a really healthy discussion here. We're always on radio on Wednesday and Saturday, discussing the issues, talking about Mr. Cummings, his vision for Liberia, and speaking to the hearts and minds of the people in Nimba County. On that note, I want to say thanks to all of you who have followed me today on this brief podcast, listening to what we have to say. Please continue to share the link and invite people when we come on. The dawn of a new day in Liberia waits all of us, and it's our responsibility to make sure we're standing together. And as you heard me at the beginning of the show, the CPP on October 1st will have FIXEWR Day. We're going to take over the Antoinette Tupper Stadium. We're encouraging you, your family members, whoever you have in Liberia, and even you, show up at the ATS and let's send a statement to the establishment and let them know that Mr. Cummings and the CPP are here to stay. On that note, again, I want to say thanks to all of you. I appreciate all of you, and we look forward to making sure that Mr. Cummings is elected as next president of the Republic of Liberia. Now, these radio podcasts are all individual initiatives. They're in no way connected with the political party, as these things are being paid for by individuals. And it's our responsibility because we believe that we can be able to use our collective gifts to be able to bring this conversation to the wider population. So just like us, all of you can make and can take your own time and individual initiative to be able to help the campaign to spread the message of Mr. Cummings. I'm so glad that I've been opportune to be able to use that to be able to talk to the people of Liberia, and together we will continue to do all we can to educate people. Thanks to all of you for following, and on that note, I'm going to go ahead and sign off.
Thank you.